It should come as no surprise to anyone that I am passionate about live fire cooking. I mean, so passionate that I opened a restaurant with an entirely live fired kitchen. But where did that come from? Well, it came from the fact that I grew up in a barbecue restaurant in Oklahoma City. But that's not where that passion was fueled. No, it wasn't until I got to Mexico that I discovered this intense love for live fire. From Baja to Sinaloa, Jalisco, Hidalgo, down into Oaxaca, and big time out in the Yucatán. The Yucatan's Riviera Maya is well known for beautiful, sprawling resorts. But even at a place like Rosewood, Mayakoba, Chef Juan Pablo Loza is passionate about cooking over live fire. Chef, I'm in love with your live fire kitchen, your outdoor kitchen here at the Rosewood Mayakoba. Since we're here in Yucatan, I assume the wood is different than what we use in Chicago.
Exactly, way different. This
Yeah?
is zapote wood. It's actually from the same as the chewing gum.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very dense
Is this-
wood.
is this
one.
the
Try
wood?
it, try it. Well, you're very strong, but you can see.
Whoa,
It's really
that
dense.
is dense wood.
It's not only about the densities as well.
Yeah.
The aromas are very unique. You can smell.
You certainly can. Now you've got the stationary grill here, and you just put your wood in there and make your coals, and you've got a small wood burning oven over there. What kind of dishes do you do?
Some dishes we do two cooks, like we started grilling,
Yeah.
and then we finish it in
Oh,
the
and
oven.
finish it in the oven.
Yes, so
The
we
way
do.
that many chefs will start something in a saute
Exactly,
pan
and then put it
finish
in
it
the oven. But this one, of course, with much more flavors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's really,
Okay,
really
well,
fun.
Show us what you're going to do with
So
this
the-
octopus.
We're gonna prepare this octopus marinated with achiote.
Yes.
Then grill it and serve it as well over grilled pineapple.
Oh, beautiful.
Right?
Once he covered both sides of the pineapple with dark sugar, he laid each slice on the grill. He started the marinade for the octopus by combining some recado rojo paste, that stuff that's made from achiote, along with some oregano in a mortar. Next went in the juice of a sour orange, and then he mixed it all together.
Okay, so now we're gonna put the marination with the octopus on that little bowl. Thank you.
He added a bit of salt to the marinated octopus, and then after he took the pineapple off the grill, he replaced it with the octopus. While those were cooking, he sliced up that beautifully grilled pineapple. Now, after 8 or 9 minutes on the fire, the octopus was done and we were ready to plate. He layered the pineapple slices around the edge of the plate and piled on some salad greens in the center. On top of that, he drizzled a classic vinaigrette. Finally, he cut up some of that very tender octopus into small pieces and laid them all around the plate. Beautiful and delicious. A short ferry ride from Cancun lies the tiny island of Isla Mujeres. My friend Chef Federico Lopez took me to his Zama Beach Club to show me how he likes to cook with live fire, right on the beach. That is a beautiful fish.
Well-
Now, it looks to me like a grouper.
It is a grouper. We call it mero,
Yeah.
and it's a local fish.
Okay, so tikin is the fish that is marinated in achiote and cooked over fire.
Well, tikin means open armrest. That's what it means.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a bisagra in Spanish.
Okay.
So it's just what we're gonna do is we're gonna open in butterfly cut. We can call like that.
Okay.
No, so-
To open up that fish, Federico made a cut down the back, right next to the spine. But he didn't cut all the way through to fillet the fish. He just wanted to be able to open it up flat to butterfly it. Then he removed the gills, and it was time to make the marinade. He started with fresh ground achiote paste, what they call recado rojo here. Then he combined that with some corn masa as a thickener. Some salt from Colima and some pepper went in. And finally, the juice of a sour orange went into the bowl, and it was all mixed together.
Marinade just over the fish. This marinade here in the tikin chic is great with the fish, but also they can use it with pork.
How about on chicken breasts?
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's like a
That's
pibi
what I
pollo,
thought.
no?
Yeah.
You can let it sit there maybe a couple minutes before you put it in the grill, just to let it marinate, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
In the meantime, we have our
Okay.
fire here. The fuel here is coconut shells.
Okay. Looks like the old or dried coconut shells, right?
It is, it
Okay.
is. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put it face down.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do now is put the rest of the marinade.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna close it up. And we're gonna flip it and put it right on the fire, skin down.
This is my kind of food.
After about 10 minutes, he flipped the fish over, skin side up.
So now what we're gonna do is just let the bottom flesh cook a little bit more.
While the fish continued to cook, Federico made 2 salsas to go with it.
The first one is gonna be a martajada, tomato, just regular.
Martajada means like coarsely crushed.
Yeah, in the molcajete.
Okay,
No, this is a
you're going old
handmade.
school.
Yeah, old school. No blenders here.
No.
No blenders. And the second one is the ishnepek.
Okay.
He started with sea salt, put in 2 roasted habaneros, and ground it all together. Next, he added a few roasted tomatoes, charred skin and all, and ground those up as well.
Okay, we're gonna just finish it with a little fresh chopped cilantro, no? And that's it.
Beautiful.
Okay, so salsa is ready.
Yep.
We're gonna make the second salsa, the ishnepek.
Okay.
It's gonna be more like refreshing.
Okay.
He started with some finely chopped fresh tomato. To that, he added some sliced red onion and some chopped cilantro. Sea salt and black pepper went in next, and just a bit of sour orange juice.
We're gonna be adding some radishes. This is,
That'll really make it taste fresh.
yeah, radishes give the taste for the region, no? I like to put the 2 kinds of cilantro because the one that is very sharp will give like the mix, but this one will give the aroma.
Okay.
Okay, just like that. Okay, my friend, I think it's ready. I'm gonna flip it again. Look at that, beautiful.
Nice.
Nice and crusty.
Yep.
Okay, let me grab the spatula here because it's ready here. Ready, my friend? Okay. We have it right here. Okay, but now you have to taste it, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Here are some handmade tortillas.
Okay. Okay, let's see what these things taste like.
Okay, my friend.
Oh, that's the real deal. It's really good.
Heartwood in Tulum is one of the region's most popular new restaurants. Guests from all over come to taste Chef Eric Werner's menu that combines unique local ingredients and fire.
So here at Heartwood, it's an all wood-fired kitchen, right?
Yes.
You don't have an electric stove stuck in the back or
Zero.
something like
Yes,
that.
only-
Okay,
only
okay.
wood-fired,
And
yeah.
so tell me about this is your grill.
Yes,
But what
right.
are you cooking over here? What kind of wood is this?
This is a lot of the time sapote or tropical wood. A lot of this wood has fallen already in the jungle.
Okay. This is just found wood mostly.
This is found wood,
Okay.
cut up, and a lot of this, none of this is kiln dried.
And then how does it cook compared to, say, hardwood in the States, oak or something like that?
This takes a lot more fire commitment. You have to really kind of be there turning the logs.
Okay.
making sure your wood's not wet, making sure that there's no moss on your wood,
right.
making sure that there's no scorpions in your wood, you know.
That would be an important thing to know.
Those things happen here,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, so let's look at the oven.
Yeah.
Now, the oven is, you built this oven, I
Yes.
take it, okay? How does it cook?
I'd say because you have a large oven door here, like you have a large door here,
Yeah.
you have right and left corner pockets that are the hottest, okay?
Yes.
And those are right next to that. I'm still cooking right directly in front of the fire. I'm using each section of the large deck as, you know, this is first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth.
I see.
Okay? And it's a rotation
So you're
all the way
rotating.
through. And then you're rotating what you're putting color on, what you're allowing to rest, based off of the fish and how much fat or how lean it is, and what's going to sit back or it's going to sit forward. All these kind of things go into play.
And the closer you get to your fire, the hotter it is.
Right.
That's okay.
Exactly. Unless that fire is peaking in the back and is doing the whip and coming down and tipping here.
Okay.
Which I try to avoid.
You try to avoid that one. And do you like to see flame on your fire, or do you like it to be
Yes.
embers?
I definitely like to see flame on the fire. And
Why is that?
it gives me light inside
Yeah.
the oven.
Uh-huh.
It gives me a little bit more color
Color
on all
the
the
food.
dishes.
That's what
Yeah.
I always think. Well, thanks for taking us on this tour of your all wood-fired kitchen.
Thank you.
One of the most popular wood-fired dishes in the Yucatan Peninsula is called pork chuc. So what is pork chuc? It is essentially very thin slices of pork that's grilled over a wood fire and then served with all these beautifully fresh accompaniments, including a little drizzle of habanero salsa that really lights it up. So the first thing that we got to do is to work with the pork. My recommendation is that you start with boneless loin chops. You can find them lots of places, or sometimes they're called loin steaks. And this is what they'll look like. I'm going to pound this out to be really thin. And for that task, I've got a couple of sheets of plastic. These are actually folded 4 times so that they're a little more resilient than the regular plastic wrap. Put down the pork, put the second piece on the top, and then you'll need some sort of mallet that you can use to flatten this out. So a few pounds. Now I have pounded out all of the loin steaks there. The next step is to salt them. Now this salting is not just for flavor. We're actually going to kind of half cure them. So I'm going to put a nice sprinkling of salt over one side, then flip them over and sprinkle the other side. You need to refrigerate these for anywhere from 4 hours to overnight. That gives the salt the opportunity to slightly cure them, make them just a touch on the hammy side, if you will, but that'll be super perfect when you get ready to grill. Now our next thing is the onion for this dish. It's treated in a very special way. It's actually put directly into the embers and allowed to char on the outside. What that does is to cook the onion on the inside, but it creates a very special kind of sweetness, something that you can't get any other way. So if you're cooking at home and you say have a kettle grill, you'll want to build your charcoal fire in the bottom of it and then put the whole onion directly in those coals and allow it to cook. Here, because we're cooking with a wood fire, I'm going to nestle this onion right down in here, right in a spot where it's really, really hot. So that's going to char there for about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll show you what to do once it's ready. The onion's been charred on the outside and is completely soft on the inside. Now what I need to do is to break the charred skin off of it now. It's cooled down to room temperature. Ah, that's beautiful. Okay. There's the nugget that we're looking for right there, and you can see that it has the color of like a sauteed onion. So cutting it in half like that, you'll find this to have a kind of slippery texture. We'll combine the onions with my version of sour orange juice. I just take fresh squeezed lime juice, 2 parts of that to 1 part of orange juice. And the 2 of those things together, I think, make a really nice substitution for sour orange. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on top of the onion, give it a little sprinkling of salt, and we're gonna put that away to use a little bit later. To our marinated pork, this has been about 4 hours now with the salt on it. I'm going to splash on some of this sour orange juice to give it a nice tanginess. And then we'll set those aside to marinate while we prepare all the vegetables that go on the plate. I need to thinly slice some cabbage and then slice some ripe tomato and cut up some avocado. Time to grill, but first we've got to give the last little bit of seasoning to the cabbage. Some of that sour orange juice goes in, a sprinkling of salt over that. Toss that together. Put a nice bed of cabbage. And now it's time to grill. Some of these onions we can just sprinkle around over the cabbage. Top that with the grilled pork over the top. Some of these beautiful, beautiful ripe tomatoes. A couple of slices of avocado. A little sprinkling of salt over the top. And a very casual sprig of cilantro over that. This is probably my favorite summer dish. Even people that don't have a full-fledged garden oftentimes like to keep pots of herbs on the back porch. And when it comes to specialty herbs like Mexican oregano, that might be a great one to choose. When you order one by mail or find one at your garden center, it'll look a little bit like this. And you'll notice, perhaps, that the leaf is kind of familiar because this isn't actually in the oregano family at all. It's in the verbena family. So it's got that little serrated leaf like you would expect on a verbena plant. But why is it called oregano? Well, it's mostly because the Spaniards came to the New World and loved oregano, and anything that tasted to them like oregano, they christened oregano. Now, I've got a whole bunch of true oregano plants, the ones that are in the oreganum family. This is the common oregano. There's Greek oregano and Italian oregano, and this one's called spicy oregano. And then this one that's here at the end, well, this is a succulent. But in Mexico, it's called oregano, or sometimes Caribbean or Cuban oregano. And when you taste it, it'll have that slightly minty flavor that we associate with oregano, but it'll also have the traditional bitterness that goes along with that. All of these are oreganos, and they're all really good and easy to grow in pots on your back porch. One of the dishes that Mexican oregano is featured in Mexico is out in the Yucatán. It's called pollo al oregano, or oregano chicken. And I've got here the Mexican oregano, the way that you can find it in most of the grocery stores. This then gets crushed and it will release all of its flavor. I'm gonna make a marinade for the pollo al oregano that starts with orange juice and then adds just a little bit of lime juice to that. So in the Mexican lime squeezer, I'm gonna flip over the lime and just squeeze 1/2 of a lime into that. So this is mostly a kind of sweet marinade. Into that, I'm going to add the oregano, but I'm going to do it in several batches because I'm going to crush it in traditional Mexican style between my palms. I'm going to need a couple of hefty tablespoons of this oregano. So rub it between your palms like that. It will release the most wonderful, wonderful, almost minty-like aroma as you're crushing it. Oh, it's so beautiful. To that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and a little dash of Worcestershire sauce. Just add some depth of flavor. Another dollop of olive oil, and then stir everything together. So we're gonna flatten out the chicken in what is called a spatchcocked chicken. You can take out that backbone using kitchen shears if that is comfortable for you. For me, it's easier to do it with a knife, and I'm gonna cut down on either side of the backbone. Just release the backbone, I'll set that to the side. And then open the chicken out flat. I just like to lean my body weight into it. You can hear some cracking going on there. Give it a good press down like that, and you'll see how it'll just flatten out. Flip the last segment of the wings under like that. Now our next thing is to talk about how we're going to set up the grill. If you have a kettle grill, you're going to want to build your charcoal fire and then bank the coals to the side so you can put the chicken in the middle and it will cook by indirect method. Using a Kamado grill like this one, I've got the fire built in the bottom, and then I've put the plate setter. It's that ceramic plate setter that's in the middle, and that just diffuses all of the heat up and around. I'm going to use the marinade as my initial little rub over it, but then I'm going to go in as the chicken cooks and marinate it or baste it with the marinade several times as it's cooking. Okay, that is a light coating of it on there now. The chicken will go right into the middle. This is fairly high heat cooking. We're going to keep this grill at about 500 degrees. And it'll take about a half an hour to cook that chicken. I always have instant read thermometer on hand so that I can check the temperature. In the thigh, I want it to reach about 160 degrees. I like to serve a little flavored chicken broth over the top of the grilled chicken, so I'm gonna put that together now. Starting with some good quality chicken broth here. I need about 1.5 cups of that. I'm gonna give a little splash of a malty beer. Then add a little more oregano to it. Some salt. It won't need too much because that chicken broth is already salted. And a good amount of black pepper. Sprinkle that in. Now let's take a look at the chicken. That is so beautiful. I'm gonna just put this in there to warm and come to a simmer while we let that chicken finish cooking. Whether you're cooking seafood or pork or chicken, when you do it with live fire, you always add a universal appeal.
Okay, so I fired up your appetite. Some of my favorite dishes, entertaining tips, and Mexican travel inspirations. Well, now I want to hear what you have to say. Visit us at rickbayless.com/TV for recipes and a whole lot more.